English Idioms Volume 1. Cold feet, meaning feeling nervous or unsure about a big decision or action, especially right before doing it. Examples: Sarah got cold feet just before walking down the aisle at her wedding. He was excited to skydive, but he got cold feet once he was on the plane. I had cold feet about quitting my job, but in the end, I went through with it. Cut corners, meaning to do something in the easiest, cheapest, or quickest way, often sacrificing quality. Examples: the contractor cut corners by using cheaper materials, and the building didn't last long. If you cut corners on your homework, you might miss important details. The company cut corners to save money, which led to numerous customer complaints. Break a leg, meaning a way to wish someone good luck, especially before a performance. Examples: break a leg, I said to my friend before her big audition. The director told the actors to break a leg before the play started. Before his speech, everyone told him to break a leg. On thin ice, meaning in a risky or dangerous situation where one could get into trouble. Examples: after missing 2 deadlines, John knew he was on thin ice with his boss. You're already on thin ice, so I wouldn't be late again if I were you. The company's financial problems put them on thin ice with their investors. Hit the sack, meaning to go to bed or go to sleep. Examples: I'm exhausted, so I'm going to hit the sack early tonight. After a long day at work, he was ready to hit the sack. We stayed up late, so everyone hit the sack as soon as we got home. In hot water, meaning in trouble or in a difficult situation. Examples: he found himself in hot water after missing the project deadline. The politician got in hot water over his controversial statements. If you keep skipping class, you'll be in hot water with your parents. Piece of cake, meaning something that is very easy to do. Examples: the maths test was a piece of cake. I finished it in 10 minutes. Fixing the bike was a piece of cake for him. Cooking this dish is a piece of cake. Anyone can do it. Rule of thumb, meaning a general guideline or principle based on experience or practice. Examples: a good rule of thumb is to always save 10% of your income. As a rule of thumb, you should replace your toothbrush every 3 months. The rule of thumb is to always double-check your work before submitting it. Up in the air, meaning uncertain or undecided, not yet settled. Examples: our vacation plans are still up in the air. We haven't decided where to go. The outcome of the election is still up in the air. The project's future is up in the air due to budget cuts. Pass the buck, meaning to shift responsibility or blame to someone else. Examples: the manager tried to pass the buck when the project failed. Don't pass the buck. Take responsibility for your mistakes. He passed the buck to his team, but everyone knew it was his fault. Call it a day, meaning to stop working on something, especially when you've done enough for the day. Examples: after 8 hours of cleaning, we decided to call it a day. It's getting late. Let's call it a day and finish the project tomorrow. We were tired, so we called it a day and went home early. Down to earth. Meaning practical, realistic, and humble, not pretentious. Examples: despite his wealth, he's very down to earth and easy to talk to. She's famous, but she remains down to earth and approachable. I like working with her because she's so down to earth. Break the ice. Meaning to start a conversation in a social situation, especially to relieve tension or awkwardness. Examples: at the party, he told a joke to break the ice and get everyone laughing. Icebreaker games are a great way to break the ice with new people. She asked a simple question to break the ice during the meeting. Miss the boat. Meaning to miss an opportunity, often by being too late. Examples: he missed the boat by not applying for the job when it was posted. If you don't act now, you'll miss the boat on this great deal. They missed the boat on investing in that company, and now it's too late. The last straw. Meaning the final problem or annoyance that makes a situation unbearable. Examples: when she yelled at me, it was the last straw and I decided to quit. His constant lateness was frustrating, but losing the report was the last straw. The broken promise was the last straw in their relationship. See eye to eye. Meaning to agree or share the same opinion with someone. Examples: they rarely see eye to eye on how to manage the company. We don't always see eye to eye, but we respect each other's opinions. After a long discussion, they finally saw eye to eye on the plan. A dime a dozen. Meaning very common and not particularly valuable or special. Examples: these types of souvenirs are a dime a dozen at tourist spots. Talented singers are a dime a dozen in this city. Good ideas are a dime a dozen. What matters is execution. Fit as a fiddle. Meaning in very good health and physically fit. Examples: even at 70, she's fit as a fiddle and goes for a run every day. He recovered from his illness and is now fit as a fiddle. Regular exercise keeps him fit as a fiddle. Get out of hand. Meaning to become uncontrollable or chaotic. Examples: the party started to get out of hand when too many people showed up. The situation got out of hand quickly and the police had to intervene. The argument got out of hand and they stopped talking to each other. Cut the mustard. Meaning to meet the required standard or expectations. Examples: she didn't cut the mustard, so she didn't get the promotion. This old car just doesn't cut the mustard anymore. It's time for a new one. If you can't cut the mustard, you might not last in this industry. Bite the bullet. Meaning to force yourself to do something difficult or unpleasant that you've been avoiding. Examples: I didn't want to go to the dentist, but I had to bite the bullet and make an appointment. She finally bit the bullet and told her boss she was unhappy with her job. It's time to bite the bullet and start studying for the final exams. Out of the blue. Meaning something that happens unexpectedly or without warning. Examples. The job offer came out of the blue. I wasn't even looking for a new position. She called me out of the blue after years of no contact. The news of their engagement was completely out of the blue. Spill the beans, meaning to reveal a secret or disclose information, often accidentally. Examples. She spilled the beans about the surprise party before we could stop her. Don't worry, I won't spill the beans about your plans. He accidentally spilled the beans about the project in front of the client. A piece of cake, meaning something that is very easy to do. Examples. The exam was a piece of cake. I finished it in half the time. For her, solving that maths problem was a piece of cake. Cooking this dish is a piece of cake. You'll have no trouble with it. As right as rain. Meaning in perfect health or in good condition. Examples. After a good night's sleep, I felt as right as rain. He had the flu last week, but now he's as right as rain. The car was making a strange noise, but after the repair, it's as right as rain. Cut to the chase, meaning to get to the point or the most important part of something without wasting time. Examples. We don't have much time, so let's cut to the chase and discuss the main issue. I appreciate when people cut to the chase instead of beating around the bush. After a long introduction, the speaker finally cut to the chase. No pain, no gain. Meaning you have to work hard or endure discomfort to achieve something valuable. Examples. She reminded herself, no pain, no gain, as she pushed through the tough workout. Studying for hours might be tough, but no pain, no gain if you want good grades. The coach's motto was no pain, no gain, to motivate the team during practice. Turn a blind eye, meaning to ignore something wrong or pretend not to notice it. Examples. The manager turned a blind eye to the employees coming in late. He knew about the cheating but decided to turn a blind eye. It's not right to turn a blind eye to injustice. Sit on the fence, meaning to avoid making a decision or choosing sides in a dispute. Examples. He sat on the fence during the meeting, not wanting to upset either side. When asked about the controversial topic, she chose to sit on the fence. It's hard to trust someone who always sits on the fence instead of taking a stand. An arm and a leg, meaning something that is very expensive or costs a lot of money. Examples. The new smartphone cost me an arm and a leg. Tickets to the concert were selling for an arm and a leg. Repairing the car is going to cost an arm and a leg. Butter someone up, meaning to flatter someone excessively in order to gain favor or achieve something. Examples. He tried to butter his boss up by complimenting her on everything she did. "Don't think you can butter me up and get what you want." The salesman buttered up the customers to increase his chances of making a sale. Walk on eggshells, meaning to be very cautious or careful around someone to avoid upsetting them. Examples: ever since the argument, I've been walking on eggshells around her. You have to walk on eggshells when talking to the boss. He's very sensitive. The team felt like they were walking on eggshells after the company's restructuring. Beat a dead horse, meaning to keep talking about or trying to do something that has already been decided or resolved. Examples: there's no point in beating a dead horse. The decision has already been made. We've discussed this issue enough. Let's not beat a dead horse. He kept bringing up the same old argument, but it felt like he was beating a dead horse. Under the weather, meaning feeling ill or not well. Examples: I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, so I'm going to rest at home. He's been under the weather all week with a cold. If you're feeling under the weather, it's best to take a day off. To make ends meet, meaning to manage to cover one's basic expenses, especially with limited income. Examples: with the rising cost of living, it's getting harder to make ends meet. She works 2 jobs just to make ends meet and support her family. They had to cut back on spending to make ends meet after losing a source of income. Go down in flames, meaning to fail spectacularly or be destroyed in a dramatic way. Examples: the project went down in flames after the team couldn't agree on the plan. His business went down in flames after the market crash. The athlete's career went down in flames after a series of injuries. Close but no cigar, meaning almost achieving success but falling just short. Examples: he almost won the race, but it was close but no cigar. The team was close but no cigar in the championship game, losing by just 1 point. They were close but no cigar in securing the deal, as another company made a better offer. Back to square one, meaning to start over from the beginning after a failure or setback. Examples: the experiment didn't work, so now we're back to square one. After losing the files, they had to go back to square one with the project. The negotiations fell apart, and now they're back to square one. Throw in the towel, meaning to give up or admit defeat. Examples: after years of trying to fix the problem, they finally threw in the towel. He was exhausted and decided to throw in the towel halfway through the race. The team threw in the towel after realizing they couldn't win the game. Speak of the devil, meaning said when someone appears just after being mentioned. Examples: speak of the devil, she said, as the person they were just talking about walked into the room. We were just talking about you. Speak of the devil. Speaking of the devil, there's John now, right when we were discussing his new job. Bend over backwards, meaning to make a great effort to help or accommodate someone, often going out of your way. Examples: she bent over backwards to make sure her guests were comfortable during their stay. The company bent over backwards to meet the customer's demands. He's always bending over backwards to please his boss. Once in a blue moon, meaning something that happens very rarely. Examples: we only see each other once in a blue moon since we live in different countries. A solar eclipse is a once-in-a-blue-moon event. He visits his hometown once in a blue moon, at the drop of a hat, meaning to do something immediately or without hesitation. Examples: she's ready to travel at the drop of a hat, no matter the destination. If you need help, just call him. He'll be there at the drop of a hat. They changed their plans at the drop of a hat when they heard the news. Beat around the bush, meaning to avoid talking directly about something, often because it's uncomfortable. Examples: stop beating around the bush and tell me what's really on your mind. He always beats around the bush when discussing difficult topics. Instead of beating around the bush, she directly asked for a raise. All bark and no bite, meaning someone who talks tough or makes threats but doesn't actually follow through with action. Examples: he always threatens to quit, but he's all bark and no bite. The boss can be intimidating, but she's really all bark and no bite. Don't worry about his threats, he's all bark and no bite. Bring home the bacon, meaning to earn money to support a family or household. Examples: she works 2 jobs to bring home the bacon for her family. It's his responsibility to bring home the bacon while his wife stays home with the kids. After getting a promotion, he was able to bring home more bacon. Pay through the nose, meaning to pay a lot more than something is worth or to pay an excessive amount of money. Examples: we had to pay through the nose for last-minute plane tickets. They paid through the nose for their new apartment in the city. If you don't book early, you'll pay through the nose for a hotel room. The whole 9 yards, meaning everything possible, the entire amount of something. Examples: when she plans a party, she goes the whole 9 yards with decorations, food and entertainment. They went the whole 9 yards to make sure their wedding was perfect. He explained the project in detail, giving us the whole 9 yards. Add insult to injury, meaning to make a bad situation worse, especially by adding more harm or offense. Examples: after losing the game, their coach criticized them harshly, adding insult to injury. He was already late for work, and to add insult to injury, he got a flat tire. The company laid off workers and, to add insult to injury, cut their severance pay. Step up to the plate, meaning to take responsibility or take action when needed. Examples: it's time for someone to step up to the plate and lead the team to success. When the project fell behind, she stepped up to the plate and got things back on track. The community stepped up to the plate to help those affected by the disaster. Cat got your tongue. Meaning, a phrase used to ask someone why they are being unusually quiet or not speaking. Examples: You've been silent since you came in. Cat got your tongue. She seemed nervous during the interview, and the interviewer asked, Cat got your tongue? Why aren't you answering? Cat got your tongue. Cry over spilled milk. Meaning, to be upset or complain about something that has already happened and cannot be changed. Examples: There's no use crying over spilled milk. Let's focus on finding a solution. He's still upset about the mistake, but it's just crying over spilled milk at this point. We can't change the past, so there's no point in crying over spilled milk. Burn the midnight oil, meaning to stay up late working or studying. Examples: She burned the midnight oil to finish her report before the deadline. He's been burning the midnight oil studying for his exams all week. I had to burn the midnight oil to get everything ready for the presentation. Jump on the bandwagon, meaning to start doing something because it is popular or everyone else is doing it. Examples: Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon with the latest diet craze. He jumped on the bandwagon and started investing in cryptocurrency. Don't just jump on the bandwagon, make sure it's something you really believe in. Cost an arm and a leg, meaning to be very expensive. Examples: That designer handbag costs an arm and a leg. They wanted to go on vacation, but the flights cost an arm and a leg. The repairs to the car cost an arm and a leg, but they had no choice. Get your act together. Meaning to start behaving in a more organized or effective way. Examples: If you want to succeed in this job, you need to get your act together. She finally got her act together and started meeting her deadlines. He realized he had to get his act together if he wanted to pass the course. It takes two to tango, meaning both parties involved in a situation or argument are responsible for it. Examples: You can't blame just one person for the argument. It takes two to tango. It takes two to tango in any relationship. Both partners need to communicate and compromise. The deal fell through because both sides were unwilling to negotiate. It takes two to tango. Easier said than done, meaning something that is easy to talk about but difficult to accomplish. Examples: Quitting smoking is easier said than done. They told him to stay calm, but that's easier said than done in a crisis. Starting your own business sounds great, but it's easier said than done. Chip on your shoulder, meaning a person who is easily offended or always looking for a reason to be upset. Examples: He's had a chip on his shoulder ever since he was passed over for the promotion. She seems to have a chip on her shoulder about not getting enough recognition at work. If you carry a chip on your shoulder, you'll find it hard to get along with others. Pull yourself together, meaning to regain control of your emotions or behavior after being upset or disorganized. Examples: after hearing the bad news, she needed a few minutes to pull herself together. You've been stressed out lately. Take a deep breath and pull yourself together. He had to pull himself together before going back into the meeting. A blessing in disguise, meaning something that seems bad at first but turns out to be good or beneficial in the end. Examples: losing that job was a blessing in disguise. It pushed me to start my own business. Missing the flight was a blessing in disguise because the plane had mechanical issues. The breakup felt terrible at first, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Make a long story short, meaning to summarize something by giving only the main points and leaving out the details. Examples: to make a long story short, we missed the bus and ended up walking home. She made a long story short by telling us they decided to cancel the trip. To make a long story short, everything worked out in the end. When it rains, it pours, meaning problems often seem to come all at once rather than one at a time. Examples: first, the car broke down. Then the washing machine stopped working. When it rains, it pours. She lost her job, and then her dog ran away. When it rains, it pours. After months of good health, I suddenly caught a cold and sprained my ankle. When it rains, it pours. It's not rocket science, meaning something is not very complicated or difficult to understand. Examples: come on, fixing a flat tire isn't rocket science, you can do it. Writing a simple report is not rocket science, it just takes a little time. It's just basic maths, it's not rocket science. The best of both worlds, meaning a situation where you can enjoy the benefits of two different things at the same time. Examples: working from home lets me have the best of both worlds, a career and more time with my family. This hybrid car offers the best of both worlds, fuel efficiency and eco-friendliness. Living in a small town near a big city gives us the best of both worlds. Rain on someone's parade, meaning to spoil someone's plans or ruin a moment of joy. Examples: I don't want to rain on your parade, but the event might be cancelled due to the weather. He was so excited about his promotion, I didn't have the heart to rain on his parade with the bad news. They were thrilled about their vacation plans, but the sudden illness rained on their parade. The elephant in the room, meaning an obvious problem or controversial issue that everyone is aware of but avoids discussing. Examples: we all knew the company was struggling, but no one wanted to address the elephant in the room. During the meeting, the elephant in the room was the recent layoffs, which no one mentioned. The family gathering was awkward because everyone avoided talking about the elephant in the room, the divorce. Catch someone red-handed, meaning to catch someone in the act of doing something wrong or illegal. Examples: the police caught the thief red-handed as he was leaving the store. She was caught red-handed trying to cheat on the test. The manager caught him red-handed stealing office supplies. Hit the nail on the head, meaning to say or do exactly the right thing, to be absolutely correct about something. Examples: her comment about the need for better communication hit the nail on the head. When he said the project failed due to lack of planning, he hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head when you suggested that we simplify the process. Curiosity killed the cat, meaning being too curious or inquisitive can lead to trouble or danger. Examples: he kept asking questions about the surprise party and I told him. Curiosity killed the cat. I wanted to know what was in the box, but then I remembered that curiosity killed the cat. She warned him that digging into other people's business could be risky. Curiosity killed the cat. The ball is in your court, meaning it's your turn to take action or make a decision. Examples: I've done all I can to help, so now the ball is in your court. After presenting the proposal, the ball is in their court to decide if they want to proceed. The negotiation is stalled, but the ball is in his court to make the next move. Barking up the wrong tree, meaning pursuing a mistaken or misguided course of action. Examples: if you think I'm responsible for the mistake, you're barking up the wrong tree. The detectives were barking up the wrong tree by suspecting the wrong person. She's barking up the wrong tree if she thinks flattery will get her the job. A watched pot never boils, meaning time seems to pass more slowly when you're waiting for something to happen. Examples: stop staring at the clock. A watched pot never boils. Waiting for the phone to ring makes it feel like a watched pot never boils. He kept checking his email, but a watched pot never boils, so it felt like forever. Caught between two stools, meaning unable to choose between two options, leading to a loss or missed opportunity. Examples: he was caught between two stools, not knowing whether to accept the job offer or stay in his current position. The company was caught between two stools, trying to cater to both high-end and budget markets and satisfying neither. She was caught between two stools, unsure if she should go to college or start working immediately. By the skin of your teeth, meaning barely managing to do something, just barely succeeding. Examples: he passed the exam by the skin of his teeth. We caught the last train by the skin of our teeth. She finished the project on time by the skin of her teeth. Let the cat out of the bag, meaning to reveal a secret or disclose something that was supposed to be kept confidential. Examples: I accidentally let the cat out of the bag at the surprise party. Don't let the cat out of the bag until we're ready to announce the news. He let the cat out of the bag when he mentioned the new product before the official release. Rome wasn't built in a day, meaning important things or complex tasks take time to complete. Examples: learning a new language is difficult, but Rome wasn't built in a day. The project is taking longer than expected, but Rome wasn't built in a day. Be patient with your progress. Rome wasn't built in a day. Bark is worse than the bite, meaning someone's words or threats are more severe than their actions. Examples: don't worry about the boss's criticism. His bark is worse than his bite. She may seem intimidating, but her bark is worse than her bite. The dog barks loudly, but his bark is worse than his bite. Put your foot in your mouth, meaning to say something embarrassing or inappropriate. Examples: I really put my foot in my mouth when I asked her about her ex-husband. He put his foot in his mouth by making a joke about layoffs during the meeting. She put her foot in her mouth by mentioning the surprise party in front of the guest of honor. Take it with a grain of salt, meaning to view something with skepticism or doubt. Examples: he says he's an expert, but take it with a grain of salt until you see his work. The rumors about the merger should be taken with a grain of salt. When reading online reviews, I always take them with a grain of salt. Go back to the drawing board, meaning to start over because the previous attempt failed or wasn't successful. Examples: the design didn't meet the client's expectations, so we have to go back to the drawing board. After the proposal was rejected, they went back to the drawing board to come up with a new plan. The experiment failed, so the team had to go back to the drawing board. Kill two birds with one stone, meaning to accomplish two tasks with a single action. Examples: by taking a walk during my lunch break, I can kill two birds with one stone: exercise and fresh air. She killed two birds with one stone by finishing her homework while waiting for her laundry. They combined the business trip with a family vacation, killing two birds with one stone. Give the benefit of the doubt, meaning to assume someone is telling the truth or acting with good intentions, even if you're not sure. Examples: I'll give you the benefit of the doubt this time, but don't let it happen again. Even though his explanation was vague, she gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not sure if the story is true, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Your guess is as good as mine, meaning to admit that you don't know the answer or have no more information than someone else. Examples: when will the package arrive? Your guess is as good as mine. We asked him what the solution was, but he said, your guess is as good as mine. They're trying to figure out what's causing the problem, but so far, your guess is as good as mine. The early bird catches the worm, meaning people who wake up early or start something before others are more likely to succeed. Examples: he always arrives at work early because he believes the early bird catches the worm. We should get to the sale as soon as it opens. The early bird catches the worm. She got the best seats at the concert, because the early bird catches the worm. Actions speak louder than words, meaning what you do is more important and impactful than what you say. Examples: he keeps promising to help, but actions speak louder than words. If you want people to trust you, remember that actions speak louder than words. She talks a lot about charity, but actions speak louder than words. So let's see what she actually does. Between a rock and a hard place, meaning to be in a difficult situation with no easy options. Examples: he was between a rock and a hard place, having to choose between his career and his family. The company is between a rock and a hard place, needing to cut costs but not wanting to lay off employees. She found herself between a rock and a hard place, deciding whether to move for a job or stay close to her family. Every cloud has a silver lining, meaning there's something positive in every negative situation. Examples: losing my job was tough, but every cloud has a silver lining. I found a better one soon after. They say every cloud has a silver lining. And after the storm, the community came together like never before. Even though the project failed, every cloud has a silver lining. We learned valuable lessons for the future. Bite off more than you can chew, meaning to take on more responsibility than you can handle. Examples: he bit off more than he could chew by accepting 2 jobs while going to school full-time. She realized she'd bitten off more than she could chew when she agreed to organize the entire event by herself. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Start with smaller tasks and work your way up. Get a taste of your own medicine, meaning to experience the same unpleasant situation you have caused others to experience. Examples: he was always late, but when he got a taste of his own medicine, he realized how frustrating it was. She used to criticize others harshly, but she got a taste of her own medicine when the tables were turned. The boss got a taste of his own medicine when his employees started ignoring his emails, just like he did with theirs. Time flies when you're having fun, meaning time seems to pass more quickly when you're enjoying yourself. Examples: the vacation was over before we knew it. Time flies when you're having fun. They spent the whole afternoon playing games, and time flew because they were having so much fun. I can't believe the concert is already over. Time flies when you're having fun. A picture is worth 1,000 words, meaning a visual image can convey complex ideas or emotions more effectively than words. Examples: the photo of the devastated city spoke volumes. A picture is worth 1,000 words. The painting captures the mood perfectly. A picture is worth 1,000 words. The expression on her face said it all. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Don't bite the hand that feeds you, meaning don't harm or be ungrateful to someone who is helping you. Examples: he shouldn't criticize his boss so harshly. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Complaining about your parents while they're paying for your education is like biting the hand that feeds you. The team realized that they shouldn't bite the hand that feeds them by protesting against the management that supports them. You can't judge a book by its cover, meaning you shouldn't form an opinion about someone or something based solely on appearance. Examples: he seemed unfriendly at first, but you can't judge a book by its cover. He turned out to be very kind. The restaurant doesn't look fancy, but the food is excellent. You can't judge a book by its cover. She thought the movie would be boring based on the poster, but it was actually great. You can't judge a book by its cover. There's no such thing as a free lunch, meaning everything has a cost, even if it's not immediately obvious. Examples: the offer seems too good to be true. There's no such thing as a free lunch. He learned the hard way that there's no such thing as a free lunch when he accepted the free gift and was later charged hidden fees. They offered a free trial, but there's no such thing as a free lunch. He ended up subscribing to avoid losing his data. Cross that bridge when you come to it, meaning don't worry about future problems until they happen. Examples: we don't know if the project will be approved yet, so let's cross that bridge when we come to it. If the car breaks down, we'll figure it out. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. They haven't asked us to relocate, so there's no need to stress about it now. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Meaning, don't risk everything on a single venture or option. Examples: he invested all his money in one stock, but I told him not to put all his eggs in one basket. She applied to only one college, but her parents warned her not to put all her eggs in one basket. Diversifying your investments is important. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Give someone the benefit of the doubt, meaning to trust or believe someone's word or actions despite doubts or evidence to the contrary. Examples: even though the story sounded suspicious, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. She was late again, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt and assumed it was due to traffic. He claimed he didn't see the email, so I gave him the benefit of the doubt. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Meaning, you can't enjoy both benefits if they conflict with each other. You have to choose one. Examples: he wants to travel the world but also save money. You can't have your cake and eat it too. She wants the promotion but doesn't want to work longer hours. You can't have your cake and eat it too. They want the freedom of being single, but the security of a relationship. You can't have your cake. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, meaning don't assume something will happen or make plans based on something that hasn't yet occurred. Examples: she was planning how to spend her bonus before it was announced. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. He was so confident about getting the job that he started shopping for a new car, but I told him not to count his chickens before they hatch. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Wait until you have the contract signed before celebrating. This book is one of 10 books in the English Idioms series. Each book has different common English idioms, what they mean and how to use them. To learn more idioms and get better at English, try reading all 10 books in this series. Understanding and using idioms can greatly enhance your ability to communicate effectively in English. Idioms add color and depth to the language, making conversations more engaging and expressive. By familiarizing yourself with these common idioms, you'll not only improve your understanding of English, but also connect more deeply with native speakers and enrich your everyday conversations.